The Century Arms BFT-47, let's check it out. Century Arms has just introduced their BFT-47. This is a brand new offering from Century, and this is a Bulged Forged Trunnion AK-47. Taking cues from the Vepr, which really reinforces this section right here, but it increases the durability of the rifle and also the accuracy. This is all made right here in the USA. Century Arms in the past has had some issues with some of their earlier versions, but the BFT really brings this into a whole nother level. Now, Century Arms sent the BFT-47 for this review and to add to my AK-47 collection. I love AK-47 rifles. There's just a lot of history behind these, and the legendary reliability of the AK-47 is just world known. Guys, one of the things that I'm very excited about is that this is an American-made AK, and as government restrictions tighten up on imports, especially from Eastern Bloc countries, it's really nice to see the US AK market really step it up. And Century Arms has been through a number of different AK variations. Some were more accepted than others. I think there were some cast trunnions with some of the early models. The BFT stands for Bulged Forged Trunnion. And that is actually going to make it even more sturdy than a lot of the different AKs that are already on the market. Let's go ahead and remove our magazine. This is a US Palm magazine. It does have a round limiter in it. YouTube won't allow us to show 30 round and above magazines. So this is a 25 round mag. And then the gun is empty. Now, I really like the safety. It does have an enlarged paddle, but it also has a notch here where we can hold the bolt open. Lock it into place. Now, this is the bulge that comes out around your trunnion. It is a forged trunnion. It's 4140 steel, and it has 2 rivet points on either side, and this is on both sides of the receiver. So this is going to give you a lot more strength around that barrel chamber to frame fit, and it gives you a lot of strength. So being forged, we're going to have really good heat treating, and again, guys, it's one of the things that Century was very adamant about, is to make this really strong. Even your Serbian bulged trunnion rifles only have 1 rivet. Right here is BFT and then 47. Now, these receivers are actually 1.5 millimeter in thickness. They are stamped, which is for the AK. The AKMs are the milled receivers. But your standard AK receivers are 1 mil. So this is going to give it about 50% more strength in the receiver itself. And so we have the Bulged Forged Trunnion that are typically in your RPK rifles, and then we have a heavier receiver, 1.5 mil, and it's just a beautiful anodized finish on here. I mean, it's a flat matte finish, but it's been very well done. Take your safety, pull it down, and it just fires the bolt home. The dust cover is really solidly locked on there. We'll take a look at all that when we break it down to show maintenance. We have our standard rear adjustable sight. And we have a standard front post, and of course you can adjust this for elevation. You have one of your slant brakes. It's 1x14 left-hand thread, so you can put any kind of Eastern Bloc type compensator on here. It does come with your cleaning rod, and it does come with your bayonet mount. We have a 16-inch 4150 steel chrome moly vanadium barrel. We have a ventilated gas tube, and the wood furniture is American maple. I mean, it is beautiful. Back here, it's a little bit of a different color. And of course, with, you know, the different stock sets, you're going to get mix and match. But I'm telling you, this is just a beautiful rear stock. We have a polymer pistol grip. We do have one of the rack triggers. And this is from Century Arms. It's their Red Army Standard trigger. This trigger is really smooth. There's no trigger slap when you're firing it. Of course, the US Palm mags, really solid lockup. There's a little play right here. But of course, there's a ton of different options out on the market. But US Palm makes some really good magazines. And these are the waffle pattern. On the left-hand side of the receiver, we do have a scope mount. And these side mounts are excellent because you're not resting on this dust cover, and the dust cover can have a little bit of movement. So having this coming across really allows you to put optics on these securely. We have a sling mount here at the front and a sling swivel here at the stock. We have a ridged metal butt cap. There is no trap door for your little cleaning kit. The receiver is 4130 steel. The bolt and the trunnion are 4140 steel. So it's made from really high quality steel. And guys, that's just going to give you longevity. And the AK-47 is already known for its reliability and its durability. This is really going to increase service life on this rifle. Now, to give you an idea about the trigger pull, it is single stage. There's just a little bit of movement right here, and then a nice break. Reset. Right there, and back on it. Trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds, 4.6 ounces. 4 pounds, 3.7 ounces. We really appreciate Century Arms for sending the Red Army Standard 7.6 2x39, and we're using some of the US Palm magazines, which we're going to check those out as well. Now at the range, we just did a lot of shooting. You know, the rifle just shoots like an AK-47, but you can tell there's a little more quality to it. The parts are really well fit together, and it just shoots very well. We were using these US Palm magazines, which they also sent. This is one of the translucent ones, and they just function very well. I like being able to see the rounds when you're firing, but they also have an opaque version, and that's the one we typically shot with. The overall fit and finish of this rifle, it shows at the range. I mean, it's just a smooth shooting AK-47 with the slant muzzle brake. You know, it does kind of keep the muzzle in a more of a steady position. Overall, we really enjoyed shooting, had no malfunctions whatsoever. We were using the Red Army Standard ball, and you know, it just works really well. Now it does have that rail on the side. We decided not to put a scope on the rifle. We wanted to shoot it as it comes. But typically with accuracy, I like to have a scope because it can really show the potential of this rifle. I will recommend AK-47 Operators Union. Rob did a great job showing the accuracy of this rifle out to 500 yards. And Rob's a definite AK guy, and I highly recommend it. I'll have it annotated right above for you to check out.
This is why an AK is actually designed and developed for a left-handed person. AKs for life, baby.
For disassembly, press in this button behind your dust cover, lift up, and it comes right off. Bring your recoil spring and guide rod, and just let that come out. Then we're going to bring our bolt back. You just lift it right up. Now here is the RAK trigger. The hammer's been reprofiled right here just to make the bolt come over it a lot easier. And that's just going to give you smoother feeding. It is double hooked, so it springs on either side instead of the shepherd's hook that you see in a lot. This is also a single stage trigger, which it's very crisp. And these triggers eliminate your trigger slap. And that's one of the things when you're shooting, especially rapidly, that trigger can bounce back and pop you on the finger. These triggers are really well done. Right here is your gas tube lever. I use my bolt carrier, put it on here. It's usually pretty stiff, so we can just lift that up. And then we can just pull out our gas tube. Now here you can see the bulged trunnion that comes out. Again, this is going to reinforce around your chamber, your barrel, and your receiver. Just gives it more rigidity, it gives it more strength. Now here we have our bolt. Just take it, turn it, and you can pull it right out. Now one thing I definitely want you to take note of is how clean and well finished this little bolt channel is. I mean, the bolt carrier itself is very well finished. A lot of times when you get AKs, there's a lot of machining marks. And then here is your bolt. Nice beefy extractor. I mean, this is really very well done. Now to reinsert your bolt, take it, just go in that channel, pull it forward, and you're good to go. Gas tube in the front first, bring it down, bring down your lever. A lot easier to close than it is to open. Bolt carrier and bolt, get over here and just close it down into the track, lead it forward. Recoil spring and guide rod. With the dust cover, bring it in the front first, and you want to push on your little button at the back, lock it in, snap it down, and you're ready to go. And of course, test for function. Not bad. The configuration of that trigger against that bolt makes this very smooth. AK-47s, I mean, there's so many different types out there, and of course, you know, a lot of the Eastern European AKs have really dominated. But with this forged trunnion and it's bulged, with the steels that they're using, the good quality steels, I think this is going to be a great AK. Very durable, and I really think Century Arms has hit it out of the ballpark with this rifle. Once we see a lot of rounds going through it, we're going to find out. But overall, I've been very impressed with this. Some of the earlier AKs, you know, I've not had a lot of problems personally, but they're well documented, and there have been a few out there. But guys, I think this is going in the right direction. US Palm makes really great magazines. Again, this is the opaque version. Then we have the FDE and translucent and the black. That way you can see your rounds and keep a good round count. Century sent these along for me to show you guys, and I didn't argue with them. The retail price is $829. Market price, I've already seen some down around the $750 and up range. So a great price for a really high quality AK-47, especially with the forged bulged trunnion. I mean, that's going to give you advantages over a lot of the AKs that are coming out of Eastern Europe. The American maple stock, the beautiful finish on this rifle. It's an AK, but it's got a lot of great features, especially internally. I think that's going to make this a really reliable firearm. Eastern European politics definitely kind of play into a lot of the AKs that come over, and they have been very high quality rifles. But you don't know really who you're supporting. One thing about the Century Arms BFT-47 is that it is made right here in the US. And they really have brought this up to world-class standards. So I want to thank Century Arms for sending the BFT-47 for this review. And guys, with that reinforced forged trunnion, I mean, it is going to give this rifle a lot of life, and it gives you a lot of confidence, especially with your American AK-47. And again, we appreciate Century Arms for sending the BFT-47. I love getting AKs out to the range, and this was an exceptional one. Now, we really appreciate Sportsman's Guide for being one of our sponsors. And they give a $20 off every $100 or more purchase using Sootch, no 00. And they have all kind of outdoor related, camping, hiking, firearms, you name it, they've got it. But one thing that I use them probably the most for is their military surplus from around the world. And if you join their buyers club, you get a better price and you get free shipping on most items. So check out Sportsman's Guide, it's a great resource. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. have a 16-inch chrome, so that makes it a little bit easier to get those mags in and out. Oh, I'm putting that thing in upside down. It won't go. What's wrong with this thing? It's had to been beefed up. Okay. Blah, 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 blah,
The mag well is further back than I thought it would be. I mean, it's fine. I thought it would be like a half inch further forward. So I'm like, where's it at? It's not there.
Right, Robbie.
Somebody move the mag well.
Robbie, whatever you say.
It's your world, Robbie. We just live in it.